Coach, talk about what a nice showing by your team. Probably one of your best offensive outputs you've had in a couple of years here, and I'm sure you're happy to see how your team responds, especially when they made a run late in the game there.
Yeah, no, I think for us the big thing is we want to establish the run game. I mean, that's kind of what we've been preaching for 3 years, and it's not a overnight success. You got to build up to it, and Saturday we were able to have over 300 yards rushing. That's something that we haven't done since I've been here. Definitely two guys over 100 yards, being able to just control the tempo of the game. I was surprised after the game that we didn't have the time of possession victory, that they had the ball more than us. But I thought that we did a lot of really good things. I thought we played to the capability of our players, able to put Ben in a position to use his feet and not doing it just to run out of a pocket because the protection's breaking down or the routes aren't coming open, but get him to be aggressively making some decisions and running with the football. And it's a nightmare on a defense when you have basically a triple option coming at you and trying to figure out how to plan for that. And you can't take away any one of those three because all three of them have the potential to do something special. So it was great. And then Ben's passing, very efficient. The things that he was able to do and just keep drives alive and make the smart passes and not force anything. I mean, that's the style of offense that we've been trying to get to on a consistent basis, just a highly efficient play at the quarterback position and being able to control the run game. And so it was very satisfying walking off the field after the game knowing that we were able to accomplish that offensively.
How does the team continue this kind of performance next week?
Well, we just have to continue to build on our confidence. I think anytime you win a football game, it's a lot easier to push the guys even harder after a win because they've tasted the fruits of victory and now they want it more, and so you can push them to do the little things even at a better standard. Sometimes when you lose a couple games in a row and trying to get them to bounce back, sometimes that's not always as easy as you'd like it to be. So the energy that they had yesterday on Sunday in our meeting, they're excited, they're ready to go, and it's not the same feeling that I've had here getting through 7 games, knowing that you got a 4-game stretch to finish. I mean, it's a totally different vibe from the squad, and that's purely because of confidence and belief.
How have you seen Ben develop since he first got here?
Well, I mean, if we go all the way back, I mean, we were putting him into the game as a wide receiver, and so for him to develop has been phenomenal. We've kind of been tweaking our offense on a consistent basis to get it to exactly what we want. But at the end of the day, you still have to play towards your players and who are in those positions, what are his strengths, how can we capitalize on those strengths, minimize his weaknesses, and those type of things. And so once we get you get Ben running a little bit, he gains his confidence that way. He was like a man possessed on Saturday, and he was ultra locked in. He was able to do great things carrying the ball, do great things with throwing the football, and even when he had to escape the pocket and getting into the second level and doing some things that make some people miss and running away from some of their elite defensive linemen. It was pretty fun to watch, and everybody just fed off it on the sidelines as well. So he's progressing. I mean, we're not going to put him into an NFL system where he's got to make 5 reads across the field and then come back to his check down. We're still keep it much less than that. We'd rather keep him on that efficient level where he's looking 1 or 2 throws, and if he's got to pull it and run or hit his check down and try to keep it quick so he's not in that pocket for a very long time. And if we're able to do that, then his progression is climbing very well. If we get stuck behind the chains and he has to sit back there, that gets away with what we're trying to do, and then obviously his progress isn't where we want it to be.
How about setting the tone in that game? First possession, you come right down the field and score. How important is that to you? From a coaching standpoint, to try to make these teams play catch up to you instead of you trying to play catch up.
Yeah, one of the things that you preach as a football coach is you want to start fast, and starting fast means offensively it doesn't necessarily mean you score, but you're able to move the ball and flip the field a little bit, gain some success, try to build some things up, for the rest of the game. But obviously the best case scenario is you score on that first drive, and which we did, and we had to convert some third downs to do it. But then defensively to be able to have a stop. I mean, it's the fast start isn't just on the one side. And, defensively, we ended up holding them to a field goal, and that was after their one explosive pass that they had, and they hit us for a big one for 40, and then our kid tracked them down, kind of a touchdown-saving tackle, and then we made a stand at the goal line, which was really good. So all that continues to breed that confidence, and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and then they start doing things that maybe they didn't think they could do. But it's all because you start fast, and unfortunately there's been too many games this year where we've started in a hole, and we've had to spend all our effort just digging ourselves out just to get to an even playing field. So when we can get out in front, it's a much better position to be in.
Do you, any words on Augustana? Anything about the team a little bit?
Yeah, I mean there aren't any kids on the squad that I coached or anything, so I don't know any of them personally. Know their coaches really well. Obviously know the area. They've been having a good season, up and down at times. And for them coming, I think they have a couple home games here in a row, trying to get themselves back into position to see what kind of run they can make at the end. But they're going to be a more disciplined team than what we played. That'll be for sure. So we have to be very disciplined in how we play. And when I say discipline, it's not after the whistle stuff. It's being disciplined with what our techniques are and our fundamentals are. They'll throw some stuff at us. I think their D line is very good. It's a different D line than what we faced. The one we faced was more of a speed and pass rush D line. These guys are a little bit bigger and stouter and want to eat up run gaps and try to dominate one-on-one with physicality. So we got to be ready for that. That'll be a little bit more of a change up. But offensively, they've kind of been all over the board in terms of what they're trying to do. They try to be very multiple, throwing the football, running the football, doing all those things. So we still, at the end of the day, nothing's going to change. We want to be able to run the football and stop the run, get them to have to throw and get us to not have to throw. And if we can do that and play well on special teams, then that gives us our opportunities.
There were a couple new wrinkles this week, both, I don't know if it was a design pitch or the option outside, and having both running backs in the same backfield. Is that something you've been working towards all year, or was that part of the game plan with their edge rushers?
A little bit of both. As we've kind of gone through the first six weeks of the season, we've kind of been a more of a double-headed monster at our running back position. Our third running back had gotten in and done some good things, but he got hurt in the Winona game. But we just kind of came to the consensus that these two backs have been very good for us. Why take one of them off the field just to get the other one playing time? Let's figure out a way to get them both on the field together. And then part of that then factors into giving the opportunity for Ben to run with the football as well. So it really gives you a three-back backfield. And I thought our guys picked it up really well with what we were trying to do. Took advantage of their pass rush. That was kind of more of the scheme that we were trying to get to. But at the end of the day, it was our most productive offense. So we'll definitely be looking at ways to try to build on that as we go forward.
Coach, with a couple extracurricular activity penalties going on early, how do you tell your guys not to retaliate in situations like that with a late hit?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've been probably one of the more minimally penalized teams in the league, and I take a lot of pride in that. I want our guys to be disciplined, walk away from stuff. I think their team got pretty frustrated with what was happening at the end of the game, and it was starting to show, and they were getting some of those penalties. And then at the end, we got a couple of late hits that they're pretty close, but either way, they're penalties, and we don't want to have those. But I will say that we were playing with a little different mentality than what we've been playing all year, and sometimes tough guys make tough decisions, and it was fun to watch.
You had a couple big plays made by some young defensive backs late in the game, Caden Staples and Nylan Miller-Levi, with some breakups and the interception eventually from Nylan. What kind of things does that young play add to the defense, and can you talk about their development a little bit too?
Yeah, I mean, our defensive backfield is littered with youth. Justin Coleman and Latrell McCutcheon are both true sophomores, so they're only in their second year. Nylan Miller-Levi is a redshirt freshman, also in his second year, but first year playing. Caden Staples played a lot as a true freshman this week. Aiden Scott played quite a bit as a true freshman. And then obviously Isaiah Bigby's been playing all season as a true freshman. So it's fun to have that youth. It's fun to be the DB coach, to be back there with those guys. The great thing about youth is that they don't know what they don't know. So they're just going to go out and play really hard. At some points, they're going to be over aggressive, like what happened with Nyland on the big pass early in the game. But then they don't quit. I mean, they keep fighting and they keep doing things the right way. And they're so athletic that they're going to put us into some good positions and take advantage of some errors that come out, which they did on Saturday. And I mean, obviously, from my perspective, then that means the future looks really good as well. As if we can, once we get to being a junior, senior dominated team, and all these guys with all this experience and reps that they're going to get, that should only pay off very well into the future. But right now, these guys have no fear, and I have no fear playing them, and it's fun to watch them just go out there and play. Their mentality is phenomenal. So, but we got puppies everywhere playing, but they're playing like big dogs, so that's good to see.
Just want to talk a little bit about how well the O-line played with Concordia coming in second in the nation in sacks.
Yeah, I mean we within our program we named Ben Belinsky as our offensive MVP of the game, for obvious reasons. But our offensive line was phenomenal. I mean, as an O lineman, there's no prouder point than being able to say that you rushed for 300 yards in a game. Not just having a 100-yard rusher, but in a game 300 yards. That's a big deal. And more importantly, the Concordia defense leading the nation in sacks, and to hold them to no sacks, hold their the D2 player of the week to minimal productivity. I couldn't tell you how proud I am for how they answered that challenge. And I think that's the biggest thing, that they stepped up on the stage that they needed to, and we got some youth in that area too. And so as long as they keep pushing themselves to those challenges, and again, not only the future but the rest of the season, we're going to be able to be competitive and be in football games.
Thank you.